The school year is almost over, and that means we are that much closer to another football season. Find out how the 2014 Bulldogs look later on. Also, find out how Super Bulldog Weekend went for the university as well as the Starkville community. We have all this and more coming up on Take 30 News.
Spring is underway and we have the latest on spring allergies. Why is BET getting sued and what exactly is New Maroon? We will have the answer to these questions and more coming up shortly on Take 30 News. I am Pranav Jadhav.
And I'm Ashlyn Watkins. Looking to find out more about how Starbucks offended a teacher? We will have more on that for you later, as well as updates on the Masters Golf Tournament. But first, how did a college tour go wrong? We have the details. This is Take 30's top story. A college tour consisting of 3 buses headed to Humboldt State University last Thursday ended in tragedy when a FedEx truck crossed the median and slammed into one of the 3 buses. The crash happened about 90 miles north of Sacramento on Interstate 5, killing 10 people and injuring 30 more. All of the students on the trip were either low-income or first-generation prospective college students. The crash killed both drivers, 3 chaperones, and 5 students.
Anna Trujillo was sentenced to life in prison on Friday for stabbing her boyfriend to death with a pair of stilettos. University of Houston professor Stephen Anderson was stabbed about 24 times in the face and head. Trujillo states that she didn't mean to kill him and that she was only acting in self-defense. The conviction took less than 2 hours, with the verdict being decided on Friday afternoon. Trujillo is allowed to appeal. However, the sentence will remain unchanged unless the conviction is overturned.
An earthquake with a 7.6 magnitude hit the Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, this past Saturday. Because of the strong impact, a tsunami warning was put out on the islands and areas in close proximity. Australia, Fiji, Indonesia, and New Zealand also had a tsunami watch. The warning was issued from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center after they declared there was a possibility of a tsunami occurring. The Solomon Islands are found on the Ring of Fire in the Pacific Ocean.
The Oldham Mentor Award is given to an educator who has dedicated themselves to helping students achieve all they can while at MSU. Frances McDavid is a member of the Communication Department at Mississippi State University, and it is to her that students come for advice and to draw on her years of experience. A recent winner of the Oldham Mentor Award, McDavid has tried to be there for her advisees as well as those students that she teaches and shares some advice for her fellow educators.
We encourage other faculty to strive to take this student-centric approach to looking out for what's best for their future, regardless of whether it's in their career or in the area of their area of study or in some other area.
And with the Oldham Award on her shelf, it would seem to be some very sound advice.
Starbucks recently apologized to a Louisiana public school teacher that reported satanic symbols made in her coffee foam. Megan Pinion stopped at the Mall of Louisiana to purchase 2 beverages from Starbucks. Upon receiving her order, she saw the satanic symbols that the barista drew in the foam and reported it to Starbucks' Facebook profile. Starbucks quickly apologized to Pinion by replying to her post. Tom Kuhn, Starbucks' social media spokesperson, told the Daily Advisor, quote, "We are taking the complaint seriously," end quote. The Daily Advertiser, tried to send Pinion a request, but she has yet to respond. Last weekend, Mississippi State invited everyone to their campus to join the festivities. The turnout was a great one.
This past weekend, Mississippi State hosted its annual Super Bulldog Weekend. This event offers a family-friendly environment as well as many different sporting events, festivals, and activities. One of the exhibits on display was that of the senior interior design students. Here, these students were able to showcase their talents.
It's for seniors to showcase their work that we've done for the past couple years. All the juniors are helpers throughout to create everything.
Along with the exhibit, Mississippi State and Starkville did much more for the community, including the Cotton District Arts Festival. Here you can find many unique items to buy from local vendors. There were also food trucks from restaurants around Starkville and even a stage for bands to play. The annual spring football game was also open to the public, and fans packed the stadium to see their 2014 football. They were surprised when a familiar face caught a touchdown during the game.
You know, I did it last year, and Coach Mullen, you know, the white team was struggling a little bit, so I told him, you know, throw me in the game, let me bring it back a little bit. And, you know, that's what he did, put me on the 40, and I sprinted. They threw me a bomb and had the little, you know, everybody been nay-naying, so had to hit my little surfboard, nay-nay. The nay-nay, yeah!
Super Bulldog Weekend offers help to the campus and the community of Starkville in many different ways. The event helps raise money for certain organizations.
It brings everybody together for the community. It helps every business in Starkville, I would say, especially anybody that's involved in it. Basically, we can take these funds that people bring into the street here and turn it around into, you know, a better place, better restaurants, and as you can see around, better places for people to live.
For Take 30 News, I'm Jackson Meadows.
Don't go away, our own Karen Fairley will give you the latest NBA updates. You're watching Take 30 News.
Who would you leave behind? If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Hotline.
In high school, you got away with it. But now, at Mississippi State, do the right thing. Obey the honor code.
The rainforest is home to nearly 2/3 of animal species, and almost half the medicines that we use come from rainforests. But by 2060, nearly all of our rainforests will be gone. So how do we stop it? One way is to recycle. At home, at work, at school. Recycle paper, cans, bottles, and more. Also, save energy by using cold water in the washing machine. Keep your car tuned up and carpool or use public transportation. And finally, spread the word to everyone you know about ways you can save our rainforests.
So Karen, what's new in sports this week?
Well, it was Super Bulldog Weekend, so we had numerous things going on: football, baseball, softball. I have all this and more coming up. Welcome to Take 30 Sports. I'm Karen Fairley. For the second time in 3 years, Bubba Watson has won the Masters. He has become the 17th player to win more than one Masters, and also he is the first player since Jose Marie Oswald to win his first 2 majors at the Masters. Watson finished 8 under par, beating out runner-up Jordan Spieth by 3 shots. This is also the first time Tiger Woods did not participate in the Masters. Wood announced a week before the competition that he would not compete due to a pinched nerve. He has not missed a Masters since the start of his career in 1995. For the first time in NBA history, the Los Angeles Lakers, Boston Celtics, and the New York Knicks are missing the playoffs. Due to an already tough season, the Lakers and Celtics were already eliminated from postseason play, but there was still a chance for the Knicks to continue. That was until the Atlanta Hawks beat the Miami Heat 98-95 last Saturday, clinching the number 8 spot in postseason play. The big question is, what is next for all 3 teams? Being hit with injuries, staff changes, and player trades during the regular season, rebuilding the teams from the bottom up are expected in the offseason. The Mississippi State Bulldogs hosted the in-state rival Ole Miss Rebels this weekend in baseball. The Rebels took game 1 by a score of 6-1. The second game, however, was not so easy for them. The Bulldogs prevailed, winning 6-5 in 10 innings. Ole Miss answered back the next day, winning 12-2 and taking the series 2-1. Though the Bulldogs did not get the results they wanted, they did eclipse in a milestone for attendance at Saturday's game. There were 15,586 fans in attendance, making it the largest on-crowd campus in NCAA history. The 2014 college season is quickly coming upon us. Teams are beginning to finalize their rosters and start summer practices. The Mississippi State Bulldogs held their spring preview game this past Saturday. The Mississippi State Bulldogs are looking to start their season on the same note they ended last year on. They are looking to make it back to a bowl game for the 5th consecutive year, and head coach Dan Mullen is preparing his team to do just that. After watching the annual Maroon versus White game during the Super Bulldog weekend, the offense and defense looked highly improved. Former MSU running back, now Buffalo Bills running back Anthony Dixon, had this to say about the Dogs this year.
Well, you know, they look hungry. They look talented. I'm seeing some big catches on the sideline by the receivers. The receivers look real good, man. They got a couple guys they can play in the pros over there. But, you know, I'm just happy for them, man. It look like they're having a lot of fun. I know they've been working hard, so they look good.
The Bulldogs hope to keep their winning tradition alive this year. The first game of the season is Saturday, August 30th against the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss at Davis Wade Stadium. Super Bulldog weekend showed MSU a great time this weekend, especially the women's softball team, as they defeated the number 2 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. The Tide rolled into town Friday and took the first game of the 3-game series by a score of 5-1. The Lady Bulldogs quickly rebounded from the loss in the next game as they won by a score of 4-2, and to even the series up at 1 game apiece and the tiebreaker on Sunday. It was MSU who made the big play when it mattered. Freshman Katie Ann Bailey hit a sacrifice fly to drive in fellow freshman Amanda Ivy to score the game-winning run. The final score came out to be 4-3 with MSU taking the series. With this much-needed win on their resume, they will now prepare to host in-state opponent Jackson State University tomorrow at 6 p.m. That's it for Monday's edition of Take 30 Sports. Coming up after the break, Jordan Deere will fill you in on how to stay healthy this spring.
Hi, I'm Caleb Story, and I'm here with you today to tell you about keeping Mississippi State beautiful. Since 1878, Mississippi State has remained a beautiful and clean campus. Do what I do. Do your part to keep this campus classy and clean.
Procrastination is the destruction of most, if not all, college students. By the time we reach college, we are all experts at avoiding the inevitable. Avoiding homework to get more leisure time sounds like a good idea until the night before when we have to cram. You can avoid becoming a victim to procrastination by assessing the task at hand, scheduling times to work on it, and eliminating distractions.
Don't put off your homework. Do it now.
Be careful who you trust.
Welcome back. I'm Jordan Deere with Health and Wellness. Scientists have been trying to find a cure for hepatitis C since it was first discovered over 2 decades ago, and they feel positive about the new antivirals discovered. A new series of drugs underwent a set of clinical trials that showed the drugs were successful at suppressing over 90% of the virus, including the most aggressive cases. The drawback comes at the fact that the proposed medical cocktail could be very costly with one drug in the mixture, Sovaldi, costing $84,000 for a 12-week regimen. Not sure if you want to dine in or eat out tonight? The Center for Science and the Public Interest found that Americans are twice as likely to contract E. coli or salmonella in a restaurant than they are in their own homes. The CDC states that 48 million people fall ill each year due to eating at a restaurant, and almost 130 people find themselves in a hospital from an outbreak. But beef and poultry aren't the only products to blame. Fresh produce and seafood have been found to be major culprits in harboring foodborne illnesses. Experts say that one of the easiest preventive measures you can take is to always wash your hands, your food, and your preparation area before cooking or serving a meal. Do you find yourself putting off everyday chores? Your genetics may be to blame for that. According to the Psychological Science Journal, researchers say that you might be inheriting your procrastinating tendencies, which also happen to be linked to your impulsive side. Studies were done on almost 350 pairs of twins, identical and fraternal, and concluding that procrastination is in fact in the genes. Procrastination is being suggested as a quote, evolutionary byproduct, end quote, of decision making when it comes to your levels of impulsiveness. Further studies may help find new ways in which children and adults will be able to break the cycle in the future. Spring allergies may be worse this year due to the drastic changes in weather over the past year. The severe winter weather that affected the entire country is to blame. The study of the fluctuating temperatures in between seasons has shown what is called a priming effect. This is when pollen appears and then disappears, only to come back stronger, making allergies worse for those who experience symptoms. Doctors suggest wearing a mask outdoors if you experience severe allergies to help relieve symptoms. New information has been released regarding depression, specifically in men who have had children at a young age. The study, which began in 1994, followed participants for 24 years and found that men who became fathers near the age of 25 saw a 68% increase in depression symptoms. Within the first 5 years of entering fatherhood, around 5 to 10% of all fathers will experience paternal depression as compared to postpartum depression, which affects 10 to 15% of all women. Coming up, you'll hear the latest on Katherine Heigl and why BET is being sued. All this coming up on Take 30 News. Stay tuned.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that paper. Yeah, for Teresa's class. Well, no, I'm not going to do it.
Who would you leave behind? If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Hotline.
Some people think they don't have to obey the rules. But when it comes to the rules here at Mississippi State, you better take notice. Don't think you're above the law, or they'll find you. Nope. You could find yourself on the outside looking in.
Welcome back to Take 30 Entertainment. I'm Amber Cooper. Last week, a lawsuit was filed against a New York City drugstore for a Twitter picture. Actress Katherine Heigl was shooting her new TV series near the Duane Reade drugstore when an employee tweeted a picture saying, quote, "Even as Kathy Heigl can resist shopping, hashtag NYC's favorite drugstore," end quote. Heigl's lawyer said that the tweet misused her name and likeliness, so she is suing for $6 million. She says the money will go to the Jackson Heigl Foundation that was established in memory of her brother who died in a car accident. B. Scott, who was one of the hosts for the BET Awards last year and who is also an outspoken transgender, is suing BET. According to TMZ, Scott is claiming the network humiliated him during last year's BET Awards by yanking him off the show because he was wearing women's clothes. Scott says, quote, "I feel like Sophia in The Color Purple. All my life I had to fight. Because of my experiences with BET, it led me to the realization that I am transgender. Because of my gender identity and expression, it was specifically because of my gender and not my sexuality that made me a target," end quote. Rapper Meek Mills is suing the Philadelphia Police Department, claiming that it is their fault for him losing his multi-million-dollar shoe contract. On Halloween in 2012, Meek was pulled over by the police and asked to search his car because they smelled marijuana. Refusing to let the cops search him, Meek was arrested and missed his private flight to Atlanta that day. According to TMZ, Meek claimed he took a hit in negotiating a $2 million deal with Puma because of this negative publicity, forcing him to settle for $650K. Meek is suing the department for invasion of privacy, false imprisonment, and to get back some of that cash he lost. It might have smelled like Teen Spirit last Thursday, and people came to see Nirvana be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The induction was a bittersweet moment for surviving members Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl as they celebrated their missing bandmate Kurt Cobain. Joanne Jett, Kim Gordon, and Lorde were on hand to perform a few of the band's songs. Other inductees included Kiss, Hall & Oates, Peter Gabriel, Cat Stevens, Linda Ronstadt, and the E Street Band. It's been 75 years since Bob Kane's iconic superhero was created, and DC is celebrating with a new short film created by Bruce Timm. Timm, who was one of the creators of Batman, the animated series, has been behind many of the animated features that follow. The new mini-movie titled Batman: Strange Days will see the Caped Crusader facing off against Dr. Hugo Strange, who fans may remember as the main villain of the popular video game Batman: Arkham City. The new movie can be found on YouTube. Coming up, we have a little more information on last year's Boston bombing, and we'll find out exactly what New Maroon is. Stay with us.
Procrastination is the destruction of most, if not all, college students. By the time we reach college, we are all experts at avoiding the inevitable. Avoiding homework to get more leisure time sounds like a good idea until the night before when we have to cram. You can avoid becoming a victim to procrastination by assessing the task at hand, scheduling times to work on it, and eliminating distractions.
Don't put off your homework. Do it now.
Some people think they don't have to obey the rules. But when it comes to the rules here at Mississippi State, you better take notice. Don't think you're above the law, or they'll find you. Nope. You could find yourself on the outside looking in.
Ring responsibly, MSU.
New camp for freshmen will start on campus this August and will be completely run by MSU students. Take 30's Jordan Deere has the story.
New Maroon Camp is a new opportunity for incoming freshmen this fall. The committee hopes this will help retention rates while also teaching freshmen classic MSU traditions and fight songs.
It's going to be a couple days where we get some, I think it's 100 incoming freshmen, and we get them acquainted with the campus and the city of Starkville and kind of connect them to Mississippi State and kind of give them the ties on campus that will keep them around and make them love Mississippi State.
The committee and staff meet once a week to plan how the camp will run and what activities will occur. This past week, they invited 3 alumni to tell personal stories about what experiences they had during their years at State.
Been through the camp, we'll be able to sing the alma mater without having to look at the screen, and it'll just be more spirit and all that kind of stuff. And plus, the students will get more involved on campus just from hearing about all the stuff that's going on.
The students were chosen after 2 rounds of interviews and serve as the founding counselors and staff of this camp that will add a positive influence to first-year freshmen to help their transition from high school to college.
I'm excited to teach people about everything here at Mississippi State and why I love it and why it's been so wonderful to me. I have so many great memories and friendships that I've made that I want them to experience it as well.
The camp activities will take place both on campus and off campus this August. The staff hopes that this experience will allow freshmen to learn the ins and outs of being an MSU student and also maximize their full potential for all 4 years at State.
The new Maroon Camp will start 3 days before move-in day for freshmen this August.
The first lunar eclipse of the year will take place early Tuesday morning for those in North America. Sky gazers who step outside at around 2 a.m. will catch a glimpse of what is often referred to as a blood moon, named for the reddish-orange color of the moon as it makes its way through the shadow of the Earth. The eclipse is one of 4 that will take place over the next year and a half, with the next one taking place in roughly 6 months on October 8th.
The first anniversary of the Boston bombing from April 15, 2013 is coming up, and many who were affected are returning to the finish line. Many have come back to Boston to revisit the finish line after a year of recovery and healing. Of those who have visited, some were more affected than others, with severe injuries, and others are families who lost their loved ones. In addition, the city of Boston has announced its plans to hold a special event to mark the 1-year anniversary. The event will include a flag ceremony and a moment of silence. The event is invitation only.
Thanks for being here with us this Monday afternoon. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Take30News, and you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Take30News. I'm Ashlyn Watkins.
And I'm Pranav Jadhav. Tune in every Monday and Wednesday at 4 p.m. for Take 30 News, right here on MSU TV 98.